Chicago Bears at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens favored by 6.5. Your one win.
The Ravens.
Baltimore
favored.
Ravens. Also coming off a bye. 4-2 Bears at the 1-5 Ravens. Ravens by 6.5. Over under just 41.5 per FanDuel.
How crazy is that? The 1-5 Baltimore Ravens
Is that the right over under?
are favored by
seems-
almost a touchdown against a 4-2 team.
Lamar Jackson did not practice yesterday, but the assumption is that he's going to play. Are we making too much of an assumption?
Dude, if he doesn't, that line needs to move. It needs to change. It is kind of remarkable how much faith everybody still has. Not even everybody. Vegas still has in the Baltimore Ravens. Not only have they never been even remotely far from the odds to win the division, but first game back with Lamar Jackson, Vegas is yeah, they're worth a touchdown against a 4-2 Bears team. Sure, why not? Wow. I mean, all right.
This is what I'm saying. You're not what your record is. You're what Vegas says you are.
You're what Vegas says. That's a better adage than Bill Parcells.
So
you are what Vegas says you are. The end.
So here's the deal. Lamar was not playing that well or to his capabilities.
Correct.
Before he got hurt.
And that's a pretty big thing that Vegas certainly does not seem to care about.
That is a huge thing. And just to start with that, I mean, he got hurt in the Kansas City game. There was the sequence where, he's throwing the ball up to the defense. He's taken a sack on 13% of his dropbacks, which is an insane number. If you're above 6 for the year, it's high. He's double that, more than double that. That's bad. But it's Lamar Jackson, right? There's a track record here of him being better. But it's coming off a hamstring, right? So the hamstring usually keeps you from pushing it, hitting top speed. If you do hit top speed, maybe you twinge it again. So does he change his playing style when and if, assuming he gets back here? Does he change his playing style, and do they not use him in the design run game?
Yeah, I mean,
much?
I'm less concerned about that. My big thing is he was not seeing it well the last couple of weeks. You can take these data points with whatever pinch of salt you want, but with Sam Hoppin's quarterback stats, Lamar is 25th so far this year in PFF grade. He's 30th in turnover-worthy play rate, and he's 31st in pressure to sack rate. These are all indicative of a guy who's not seeing the field well or not feeling the game the way he normally does. And that's not to say he's been straight trash. I mean, he's 4th in EPA per play. There are data points that are good. But those data points all, I think, speak to the same problem, which is the last couple of weeks against good defenses and good schemes, he had problems, and they were very different defenses as well, but they caused him similar issues. If that just needed a reset, right? If the hamstring was fortuitous and they got him to sit down, he got to just got him away from whatever rut that was in, and he comes back and immediately he's MVP Lamar again, then I think Vegas is fine in terms of giving them a ton of credit. If that didn't change, though, if Lamar comes back and he's still talented, he's still capable of putting the ball wherever he wants it, but he's still not really seeing it well, and he's getting, he's a little bit lost in his own head, well, then the Ravens are screwed. I mean, they're not winning this game, let alone covering a touchdown.
Hey, guys, real quick. Only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. But they were also, he was 4th in EPA per play, which I don't like attaching that number to the quarterback. I think that's still a better descriptor of the entire offense. But when you pair that with, say, a PFF grade and some other numbers, you think, okay, they're creating big plays, and they're getting either some luck or they're getting explosive plays on plays that maybe they isn't quarterback driven, right? And that's not to diminish Lamar and how special he is and when he's at his best, but they were still creating high-end offense. It just felt very boom or bust, right? It was play for play, it was inconsistent, but then they were getting, they had a couple incredible 3rd and 17 conversions, and they had these big conversions, but it was that's volatile and tough to sustain. So I think he has to play better, and the offense has to find, believe it or not, more easy buttons. When they're at their best, Baltimore, they have the explosives, but they almost, it feels like they pick up 8 at will, whether it's Derrick Henry or Lamar on a keeper or Zay Flowers underneath. They pick up 8 easily. They didn't have a lot of those 8s, those 9s, those 10s. They had a lot of 20 pluses, and then they had a lot of negative plays, this offense, including Derrick Henry. Negative plays, fumbles, that type of thing. So I didn't actually want to talk about the offense that much for Baltimore. It's like their defense got to be so much better.
I mean, but I'm just
that's going to be the key.
Like at this point, I've just
out of
accepted that their defense is trash. I think the thing that actually determines whether they're winning or not.
But that's not how football works, right? And I don't want to overrate the bye
last year for the Bengals.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's bad all the way through. But when you have a team that's had a much better defense with very similar personnel, are they missing Nnamdi Madubuike? Yes. Are they, down pass rushers from what they've had before? Absolutely. Have they been banged up? Yes. And some of those guys should be coming back. But this is the same defense that we've seen Mike McDonald have a really, really slow start back in 22, and then they figured it out after 6 or 7 games. Same defense that has been very good these last 2 years with similar players. Same defense that completely changed Kyle Hamilton's role halfway through last season and turned things around and got even better. So that's what I want to keep an eye on. When you're coming off a bye where the defense had no pass rush, you're giving up big plays in the secondary, you're making the Texans look great offensively, what changes are you going to make? And I'm not saying they're definitely going to do it, but I'm not just going to write them off like it's impossible. That's one of the stories of the second half of the season. If the fact that the Ravens are still favored to win the AFC North by FanDuel is this assumption that the defense can't be as bad as they were the first 7 weeks, first 6 weeks. They can't be that bad. And Lamar and the offense are going to get back on track. So those are the assumptions being made. And we're going to learn a lot of that this week coming off the bye.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible that the defense is just bad this year, and that's the way it was looking even before people got hurt. The Bears will be interesting because you've got the mercurial play style of Caleb Williams, and how much can they keep him within structure? When do they press that button where he just goes complete ad lib and starts making things happen by himself? Does that matter against Baltimore? I mean, they were the get-right spot for everybody before their bye week. I mean, Houston, one good game was against Baltimore's defense. Are they just the perfect spot for a team like Chicago to do whatever they want on offense and get that offense really humming? And then the other side of the ball, was Dennis Allen's was that a 1 week revenge tour just against the Saints, or did he just click into gear with this defense and really get them cooking? And because the last thing Lamar Jackson wants, trying to come back and hopefully having been reset with a little break on the sideline, is coming up against a defense that's about to put you in hell again and immediately just Pavlovian going back to the struggles that he was with when he saw Spags' defense and the Lions. And I mean, it's a test. The Bears defense has been pretty good. Yeah,
Bears are going to be really interesting here at this point. And not to bring this up, Will, other Bears fans, you guys were 4-2 last year. You were 4-2 last year. Before you know it, it was 4-12.
That's harsh.
Right? Now, can you maintain this? Can you keep it going? There was a lot of optimism at the beginning of last year. And I'll say, I thought last week's game was fantastic in the trenches. Bears number 1 in yards before contact per carry. DeAndre Swift running well. Kyle Monangai running well. Detroit just wrecked this Ravens defense a few weeks ago. Same system. Are you going to have those same opportunities? If it is the same Ravens defense, you could have some run game success, and then Caleb's just got to play within structure and hit the open guys like C.J. Stroud did a few weeks ago. If Stroud could do it a couple weeks ago, Caleb could do it as well. So it's a fascinating game here because I think spent a lot of time talking about the Ravens just because they're one of the biggest outliers, unexpected stories of the season.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't match their previous history, any given week they could just show up as the previous Ravens, and it changes everything.
It's just remarkable how much faith Vegas has in this team, which has looked terrible this season.
Are the Ravens? Sorry to interrupt. Did you want to finish?
No, I mean that was it. They've looked terrible this season.
Yeah. Are the Ravens the most likely exploding whale candidate? Are we there? Is this because I was thinking maybe the Texans, but they weren't really the previous. I mean, it's got to be Baltimore.
They're
right?
not. I think the thing is they're not dead yet. That's the problem with the Ravens this season is Vegas still thinks they're like a 50-50 shot to win the division at 1-5. So in order to be the only way the metaphor works in the exploding whale is the whale has to be dead. I mean, it has to be washed up
got
on
to
the
be
beach.
dead. Yeah, so
the Ravens are still a few weeks away from officially being dead and washed up on the beach. Now,
if they're 3-8 in a few weeks and then they just go drop 40.
that's the thing. If and when they're dead and officially, like, mathematically eliminated, they could then go nuts and wreck somebody with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and suddenly the defense goes back. Kyle Hamilton makes 3 turnovers by himself.
Right.
That's an exploding whale game. They can't be an exploding whale yet because they're still alive.
Yeah.
One thing you'll know
Still alive.
about the exploding whale.
Bless you.
Thank you. Is it's impossible, I think, to explode as a whale if you're still alive. I believe every recorded example of a whale exploding on a beach, it's been dead at the time. I don't think anyone's ever detonated
Ravens aren't
a
dead.
live whale.
Okay. Ravens aren't dead. But they're the most likely candidate 3 or 4 weeks from now to maybe be that team.
They're the most likely exploding whale candidate this season. We just haven't gotten to the point where they can be that yet.
Over-unders 49.5, 50.5, depending. It's close. More than it was shown earlier, so that makes sense. All right. Baltimore by 6.5. Where are you going?
I'm going with the Bears. I'm not where Vegas is with the Ravens. I think that they might still be able to rescue their season, but I'm not willing to bet that they just rock up and cover a touchdown.
I'll take Baltimore. See what they do coming out of the bye.
Well, yeah, you, Mr. Optimism over there, is willing to buy any
I
positive PR.
I took Carolina instead of Buffalo coming out of the bye. Harry's going to take Baltimore as well.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?